Hey guys, it's Rebecca. Today it's going to be a book review, and the book I'm going to talk about is The Robe by Llyod C Douglas. This book, I finished it yesterday or maybe today early in the morning, like 1 a.m. And I have to talk about it, okay? And I just wanted to talk about it. I'm coming right back from my university, and I was like, I want to make it, I want to talk about it. So, yeah, I didn't change, and I'm just gonna talk about it because I really want to. It was quite a lengthy read, but I really enjoyed reading it. This book is a historical fiction and a retelling of what happened after Jesus' crucifixion. This book has two main characters, Marcellus and Demetrius. Now, Marcellus is this Roman tribune who is given the responsibility to crucify Jesus, and Demetrius is his slave who was gifted to him on his 17th birthday by his father. After the crucifixion, there's a lot put out for his robe, and Marcellus wins it, so he has the robe. And this book basically follows Marcellus and Demetrius' life after they get the robe, and how their lives changed, how they built their spirituality, how they came into faith, and how they changed their perspectives. I really loved this book. I didn't think that I would love this book so much. I was like, it's gonna be a one time read because this book was not even on my TBR. This book was gifted to me by my family, and I didn't even ask for this book. So when they gave me this book as a gift, I was not happy about it, but then now that I read it, I don't regret it at all. The author has done an awesome job with the writing. He's done it so well that I feel no one else could do this, because to be honest, my reading experience was amazing. Because in this whole book, there are retellings of the miracles that Jesus has done, but I didn't feel those emotions when I used to read the Bible, because in the Bible it was just stated. But in this book, the characters narrating their experience of the miracle. Like when a woman is healed of her bleeding when she touches the robe of Jesus, that incident is just stated in the Bible. So you just read through it. But in this book, this thing is given to a character, and the character is describing it, so you feel it. Okay, it's not just like you're reading through it, you feel them. And another instance for me is the stoning of Stephen. And when I read it in Bible, I just read through it, there was no emotions for me, I just read through it. But when I read in this book, there were emotions, because you knew who Stephen was. Of course, even in the Bible it was mentioned who he was, but then in this you follow his journey a little bit, so you understand him, you get to know all of them. It just feels you're there, so you feel it extra, when these things happen. So when stoning happened in this book, the way it was described, I cried, whereas this thing didn't happen when I read it in the Bible. The author has done it really well. And talking about the ending, I won't spoil the ending for anyone, but I must say this book couldn't have a much perfect ending than that, because that was a perfect ending. And after finishing this book, I thought for a long time, how did this book start and how did it end? And that's the reason I'm telling there's no other perfect ending for this book, because the ending was just so beautiful. And from the starting to ending, you're following Marcellus and Demetrius' character, and there's a huge development throughout the book of the characters, and I absolutely loved that. But before talking about them, I want to talk about one more character that I really like, and that is Marcellus' dad, who's Senator Gallio. He is a person I admire a lot, because the respect he gave to his slaves when the other people didn't is admirable. He has these core values which he won't give up for anything. He has these values and he stays with it. So that's about him. But coming to Demetrius and Marcellus, they are just amazing characters. Okay, I just love them. to my core. Okay, I just love them. Demetrius, he's the slave, but I really like his character because when he was bought by the senator, he could run away. Now, I'm not supporting the slavery, but yeah, he could have ran away, but he came and he earned their trust. And more than a slave to Marcellus, he was a friend. Whenever Marcellus needed his advice, he was there for him. Many times he could leave Marcellus and go, and he had chances to give up his confinement or slavery and earn the freedom because he could, but he didn't because Marcellus needed him. So you just know how more than a slave, he considered himself as a close friend to Marcellus. I respect him for that a lot. And finally, talking about Marcellus, when I started reading, I like Demetrius more than Marcellus. But when I say these many mores, it doesn't mean there's a huge gap between that. But now I really like them equally, or maybe Marcellus a little more, because the way the author has done the development, it's so good. The way he has changed his behavior is, it's, I can't describe it. Okay, we are following his story from page 1 to the last page, and the way he changes, the way he accepts things, I had this huge respect for him at the end of the book, and I was so proud of him, you know. At the end of the book, I had really high respect for him. That's how the author had done the work with Marcellus, the way he changed, and the change was so noticeable. I mean, it was more noticeable. I'm not saying Demetrius didn't change, of course he changed, but his change was more noticeable, or maybe the author focused more on his change, and so I absolutely loved it. The writing, I don't have to talk about the writing of the book. It's, by all these descriptions that I've given right now, it's enough to know how well the author has written this book. I gave this book a 4.5 star rating. That point 0.5 is because in few places it was dragging. Only because of that it's 4.5, otherwise it would have been 5. But yeah, 4.5, it's a great rating. And if you would like to give this book a try, I would highly recommend it. And even though when I say it's a Christian historical fiction, anyone can read it. It doesn't matter, anyone can read it. You could go ahead and try it, and if you have read it, let me know how did you feel about this book, because I feel this is one of those books that I keep on thinking for a long time. Because even while reading this book, whenever I used to keep this book down, I used to think about it a lot. And now when I finish this book again, it's there on my mind, back of my mind, front of my mind, everywhere it's there. So yeah, I would recommend you to read it. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys for watching my video. Meet you guys in my next video. Bye.